Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jaya Sudarshana.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jaya Sudarshana.
Jaya Jagannath.
Jaya Jagannatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Subhadramai, Jaya Sudarshana.
Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundarade.
Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundarade. Madana Mohan, Radha Madana Mohan, Radhe. Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Radhe, Jayo Sri Radhe.
There's a lot of echo.
Huh? Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Jaya Gauranita, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Bhagavad Gita as it is. Reading from chapter 8, verses 20 to 22. There's a lot of echo. I don't know what has happened. Okay. Verse 20. Paratasmat tu bhavonyo avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu na vinashyati. Paratasmat tu bhavonyo avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu na vinashyati. Paratasmat tu bhavonyo avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu na vinashyati.
Hare Krishna. Parastasmatu bhavonyo avyakto avyakta sanadana yassa sarveshu bhuteshu nasyatsu na vinasyati. Hare Krishna.
Read the translation also.
Yet there is another unmanifest nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Text 21. Avyakto akshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gadim yam prapya na nivartande tadhama paramam mama. Avyakto akshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gadim yam prapya na nivartande tadhama paramam mama. Avyakto akshara ityuktas tamahu paramam gadim yam prapya na nivartande tadhama paramam mama. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Avyaktochara ityuktas tamahu paramam gadim yam prapyana nivartande tatama paramam mama. That which the Vedantis describe as unmanifest and infallible, that which is known as a supreme destination, that place from which, having attained it, one never returns. That is my supreme abode. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. 22. Purushassa parapartha bhaktya labhya tvananyaya yasyandasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Purushassa parapartha bhaktya labhya tvananyaya yasyandasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam. Purushassa parapartha bhaktya labhya tvananyaya yasyandasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatam.
Hare Krishna. Purushassa parapartha bhaktya lebhyastvananyaya yasyandastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tadam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is greater than all, is attainable by unalloyed devotion. Although he is present in his abode, he is all-pervading and everything is situated within him. Hare Krishna.
Om jnanatimirandasya jnananjanashalakaya chakshurunmelidam yena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthavidam Yena Bhutare Swayam Rupakada Mahyam Dadadi Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Udapadagamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaidam Savadutam Parijana Saidam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishagan Vidamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagalpade Gopesha Gopiga Kamda Radha Kanda Namastude Taptaka Anjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanusude Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpadarubhischa Kriva Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swaminidhi Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshadarne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Paratasmatu bhavonyo avyakto avyaktat sanatanaha yasa sarveshu bhuteshu nashyastu na vinashyati. Yet there is another nature which is eternal and is transcendental to this manifested and unmanifested matter. It is supreme and is never annihilated. When all in this world is annihilated, that part remains as it is. Hare Krishna. So, Krishna is explaining the material universes and spiritual planets in these verses starting from 17 to 22. Previously, he had said that this planet, the Earth planet, where the human beings are residing, is also called Martya Loka. It's a miserable place. It's full of sorrow and distress and temporary nature. Not only this Earth planet, but all the planets in this Brahmanda, the 14 planets, starting from Padala up to Brahmaloka, that is also very temporary. Temporary, but it is always circulating. In the sense, That is a repetition of everything. 2 cycles going on. A cycle where the planets are destroyed, are created, and then destroyed finally. That cycle is going on. And the period of this Brahmanda is equal to the age of a lifespan of Brahma, which we have calculated, which we write the figure as 311 trillion years. So in the lifespan, or in the life of Brahma, the whole creation, the whole Brahmanda is created and then destroyed. So when the next Brahma comes, again this cycle goes on. So this is a cycle of the lokas, or the planets. Inside these planets are residing the Baddha Jiva, the Jivas, who are having temporary bodies. The planets are temporary, and the Jivas who are residing inside these planets, they are also temporary. Their bodies are also temporary. And for them, this cycle another cycle is BODD cycle, is there. And these Jivas are climbing up and down in these planets. Sometimes they are residing up to the Brahmaloka. Sometimes they go down to these Padala planets, Rasatala. So this is described detail in 15th chapter. For these Baddha Jivas who are always climbing up and down, going up and down, going up and down. So then for them, this material universe is Avyaya. This inside is never ending for them. They are trapped inside this. So individual souls, they are always having this BODD cycle, and depending on the nature of the body, it can be for half a second or a few minutes in the case of fly, or it can be as long as age of Brahma. In between also you have some planets and some, say, aquatics living to thousands of years. Then you have some plants also, or big trees also, living for 2,000, 3,000 years. Different bodies have different duration of life. But the Buddha Grama, the bunch of this bunch of living entities or jivas, when you take them together, their cycle is one kalpa of a Brahma. That we have seen in 18 and 19. Avyakto avyaktaya avyaktavyaha sarvaha pravavande aharagame ratriyagame praliyande tatreva avyakta samyage. So in that kalpa, which is calculated as a day and night of Brahma, when the daytime of Brahma comes, this Buddha Grama, this bunch of the group, taken as a singular, the whole bunch, they appear. And in that day, creation and activities are going on. So after creation, activities are going on. Like I mentioned before, these individual souls rotating through these BODD cycles, going up and down, going up and down. This happens during the day of Brahma. And when the night of Brahma comes, this bunch of devotees, this bunch of living entities, jivas, Buddha Grama, they go back into the body of Garbhodashaya Vishnu. And the next morning of Brahma, again this cycle happens. So everything is going on a rotation. It's going on cycle. So many cycles are there. And according to Madhvacharya, although this manifestation is temporary, there are 2 stages, manifested stage and unmanifested is same. But this manifested, unmanifested stage is always coming on a cycle. It can be considered as permanent, because it happens eternally. No, it is not an accidental thing, just like happens a few times and then all activities are stopped and again sometimes something happens, something again starts. It's not like that. It is very regular, very punctual. Exactly the time is calculation is Brahma, a kalpa of Brahma, as a day of Brahma, which is a kalpa. And the whole denudation, I mean, the Mahapralaya comes when the Brahma's lifespan is over, when Brahma dies. And this is very local, just like the sun rises. Everything here, everything in the nation, the Prakriti, is so systematic, so minute, that there is no deviation at all. So this is the nature of material universe. The planets are created and then annihilated. Living entities, bodies are created, maintained for some time, activities time, and then again annihilated. So Krishna in this verses 20-27, he explains that there is another nature, which is beyond manifested and unmanifested. Vyakta, avyakta. Beyond that avyakta, which is unmanifested, there is another anvyakta, there is another unmanifested nature, which are basically generally known as spiritual planets. Why it is called spiritual planets? Or sorry, why it is called avyakta? Because it cannot be understood or it cannot be realized by a normal procedure, or we can say the material process. The activities inside this material world can be understood by your material senses, but activities or the place or the abodes of the material spiritual universes cannot be understood by our material senses or in material process. So in that sense, it is said to be avyakta.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, that means beyond the indirect.
Beyond the, yes, please.
Isn't it, Prabhu? That's why called known as that avyakta, right?
Beyond
beyond our intellect or intelligence.
Yes, that is why we will about materials things. No, these are all material. No,
nobody can explain regarding that form of the Lord,
yes,
right?
yes. The abode of Krishna cannot be explained by anyone except by realized souls. That is why we have this Brahma Samhita is there, which is explained in detail and in small detail the nature of the spiritual world. In Srimad Bhagavatam also, second canto, you will find explanation or details of spiritual world. Where there are residents are there, so many residents are there. As we know that very well that Nitya Mukta is there, Nitya Baddha is there. Nitya Mukta, by just to have understanding, we say 3/4 are in the spiritual world and 1/4 only in the material world. We know that Tripada Vibhuti and Egapada Vibhuti, isn't it? So normally people, the Baddha Jivas, who are relying on their material senses, who are not realized, or we can say, let's say, very nice word is there, who is Akshara. Akshara. It's coming the next verse. The Kshara Jivas, they have absolutely no idea of what are the spiritual planets and what are the activities and the variegatedness that is there in the spiritual world. Everybody who even for they agree that there are spiritual planets, they cannot understand the vast variegatedness in the spiritual world. So that is spiritual world. That is why it is called avyakta to us who are conditioned souls. For us, it is avyakta. We have no idea of the spiritual planets, the structure and everything. And we have no idea of the activities that going on in spiritual planets. Just see this, material universe is like a cloud in the spiritual planet. Actually, in one way, we can say we are situated in spiritual sky only, because the spiritual, suppose the spiritual planets are considered as a sky. The material world is calculated to be a small cloud. And when we are inside the cloud, we cannot see the sky. Srila Prabhupada makes a very good and a very nice explanation of this. The spiritual planets is like a huge sky. The material universe is like a small cloud in that sky. But since we are inside this cloud, we cannot see the sky. That's all. In a class, Srila Prabhupada is explaining like that. Then he says that actually this, again, which is explained in the 15th chapter, this material world universes activities are a replica or a shadow of the activities that is taking place in spiritual world. Urdhamulam adashakam. We can say it's a perverted, inverted image. Like again, Srila Prabhupada giving a very nice example of, if you go to a shop, you will find some dolls, very nicely decorated dolls, like a girl dolls, very nice skirts, very nice silk and all that, looking very nice, very beautiful. But they are only dolls; they are not living anything. So the real girl is different from this doll. Same way, the real world is different from this temporary world. Sridhar Swami, he says that because this material world is very much closer to me, it's actually a part of a spiritual world in that sense. Because of the reality of the spiritual world, the material world also appeared to be real. That is why for us, for Bhattacharya, the material world looks very, very real. We take birth, we have.
And that's why individuals also cannot understand the Rasalila of the Lord.
Exactly. So we have taken birth, we have our parents, we have seen our father, mother, we have our grandparents, we have seen our school, we have our college, we have our life. I mean, the workplace we work. Then we have get married, we have wife, then we have children, then we have societies, we have nations. Every day we are looking at activities. So many activities are going on in this material world, in the nations, in the societies, inside the house, inside the neighborhood. So many activities are going on. We feel that it's very real. Yes. Somebody is telling us it's not real. Me, even though we were devotees, but still we feel that this is real. Some problem happens to our relatives, then we try to analyze this problem. In a very, we feel that it's very realistic. Like we feel that, suppose one of a very close relative and all that, and they study very much, very nicely, reaching high position. But unfortunately, they are not getting any nice jobs, not getting placement. Then we try to analyze these things. What is wrong? What has happened? Where it has gone wrong? So many activities that is taking place, we take it very seriously and try to analyze that and try to solve that problems. Because it is very real for us, isn't it?
Yeah. Very real.
Very close. When he gets sick or something like that, we get very agitated. We immediately want to take him or her to best doctors or hospitals. Things are happening in the house. Things are happening in the neighborhood. Things are happening in the society, happening in the world, in the nations. We all take it very seriously. because for us it is real. So Srila Prabhupada mentions Krishna's superior energy is completely opposite in quality to material nature. Superior and inferior nature, I explained the 7th chapter. That we have seen that 7th chapter. Edadyoni bhudani sarvani tibadharya aham krishnasya prabhava pralayasara. Both our energies are coming from Krishna. The inferior energy and the superior energy. So this eternal nature, which is unmanifest, which is the Vaikuntha planets, it is indestructible. It is indestructible. It cannot be destroyed. So that's why we have so many words describing the eternal abode of God, as well as the eternal nature of the living entities, like we are also living eternal jivas. We have these words like Shashoda, we have Nitya, we have Anadi, we have Ananda, we have Abhyaya, Aparimeya, Vinash and non-Vinashya, what do you call? It's called indestructible. So we have this no beginning, no end, eternal, everlasting, unchangeless, avya, changeless, aparimeva, immeasurable. Exactly opposite is the nature of the material world, or the nature of the bodies of the living entities trapped inside this material world. So that's Krishna says, Yasa sarveshu bodeshu nasyastu na vinashyati. When everything is annihilated in this material world, this universe or the planets, in superior planets, they are not destroyed. Why it is not destroyed? It's mentioned next word. Avyakta akshara ityukta stamahu paramam gadi. Yam prapya nivartande taddama paramam. So this akshara, avyakta, it is not only avyakta, it is akshara. And this akshara is the highest abode, highest destination. The highest destination is akshara, not chara. Chara is material, so akshara is eternal abodes. Chara is temporary bodies of jivas. And then we have to understand this word chara. Akshara is given at the beginning of the chapter, The beginning of the chapter is very nicely. Second was what is Atma, what is Brahman, what is Adiyajna, Adibodha. All these things are explained by Krishna. So this Adibodham is Chara. The physical nature is the manifested nature is what? It is Chara. The temporary bodies of the jivas are Chara. The eternal abode is Akshara, and the eternal nature of the living entities in that eternal abodes are Akshara. And we are also Akshara, but unfortunately we are in this ignorance. So Akshara is also called Brahman. Krishna says, which is Aksharam Brahma Paramam. Brahma is Akshara, not Adibodha. This is not the material bodies. I remember once, of course, there was a video of Srila Prabhupada also. One Brahman swallowing another Brahman. The Mayavadis, Jnanis, they say that when this, what is called Bhumananda Saraswati. I was listening to his class once, in the sense of when we had this book stall, then the afternoon session, he'll speak for 1 hour. Speakers will be different, but in the beginning, then in the end, in the middle also, he'll be speaking in between. So he was narrating a story when he went to Malaysia, and then he saw one shark swallowing another shark, another big fish, swallowing another small fish, or rather big fish itself. Then he was watching that. Then he said, then he was said that. Then I see that one Brahman is swallowing is another Brahman. So what is Brahman? Brahman is Akshara. And one who realizes that only is Akshara. Kshetrajna, soul doesn't mean that he's Kshetrajna. One who realizes that the nature of the body and nature of the soul, he is a Kshetrajna. Same way, Brahman is a person who has realized Brahman. Akshara, the nature of Brahman is Akshara. One who has realized Brahman. The one he has realized that is Akshara, is Brahman only. And what is his fish? Is fish Brahman? He is Chara only. Dvavimam Purusha Loge Chara Akshara Evacha Chara Sarvani Bhudani Akshara Kudasa Uchade. Kudasta Akshara Uchade. So what a stupid statement. The fish or any living entities, even up to man also, they are basically Chara only. Because they are not realized. They are not Brahman. Only those persons who are realized only are Brahman. They are the Aksharas. So this person's Mayavadis, they say that one Brahman is swallowing another, one tiger is swallowing one goat. They'll say that one Brahman is swallowing another Brahman. See the stupidity. It's very clear. They should very silly is Akshara Parama Brahma. Brahman is Akshara only. Brahman is not Chara. The fish and everything, all that is their bodies are they are Chara only. And their nature is also Chara now. Their consciousness is also Chara now. Only human beings is possible for them to realize this. And out of that also only 1 in a million, Manushyanam Sahasreshu, 1 in a million strives, endures for Brahman realization. So those who are realized only are Brahman, Akshara. So how can these fish, tiger, lions, all those things can be Brahman? But when you hear these talks, this kind of word jugglery, then people will be stunned, the ordinary public. Isn't it, Harilal Prabhuji? You have experience like that?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I had read somewhere. I have read somewhere. I think Prabhupada has said like this, that he has told that means Brahma means Atma, Parabrahma means Bhagavan.
Yes.
Same like Atma means Atma, and the Paramatma means the Bhagavan. We have to understand so.
No, that is a bit different. Here, what will happen is Akshara Parama Brahma means that Brahman is eternal.
Yes, absolutely, Prabhu.
What is Chara? This is Chara. So living, that is why in the 16th, 15th chapter, he says, Dvavima Purusha Imam Dvavima Purusha Loge Chara Akshara Evacha Chara Sarvani Bhudani, means people are not realized are all Chara only. Akshara Avyam Kudasa Uchade. Because we have the Chara nature now. So we are all the people are Chara only, except that people who have realized. So that's Krishna says, Uttama Purushasu Anye, Go Paramahana Vidwaharda, Logotrayam Abhridya, Viparti Avyamishara, Tasma Chara Madidoham, Akshara Davichotama. Adasmi Loge Vedecha Padidaha Purushatama. Krishna Purushatama is higher than this Chara as well as Akshara. So Krishna is different from Chara and Krishna is different from Akshara. But when we are talking about Akshara, like Brahman, impersonal, let's say impersonal Brahman, then that also is different from Chara.
That means Purushottam, Prabhu.
Purushottam is Krishna. Krishna is above this Chara and Akshara. And is different. The Uttama Purushasu Anye. Uttama Purushasu Anye. They are different from Chara and Akshara. That is why we say that the living entities, even though they realize, is not equal to Krishna. That is why we have this Brahman and Parabrahman concepts. But Brahman is also highest is a very highest destination. Because realize that we are Brahman's high destination only. But even then, we are not equal to Krishna because Vallabha, our Baldev Vidyabhushan says the Aksharas. Krishna, we'll see if you see the explanation of Srila Prabhupada in that 16th and 17th, 18th verse of 15th chapter. He says that fallible and infallible. Infallible always in the spiritual planets, and who are residing here are everybody is fallible. But even the people who are residing the infallible, Krishna is different from that also, because Baldev Vidyabhushan says these infallible Kshara Brahmans, they are not partaking in the creation. So the creation aspect is conducted by Krishna alone, not those realized souls or the Nitya Siddhas who are residing in the spiritual planets. They are residing there, but the material universes, everything is created by Krishna only. So he's different from this other one also. But when you come to this material world, we have this, let's for argument, I said, okay, there are Chara inside this one also. Chara means people are not realized, Akshara means who are realized. So where is that Chara is called Brahman, Akshara Parama Brahma, it's called Akshara is Brahman. So where is a question of a fish getting self-realized or tiger getting realized? So they are Akshara only, they are not Brahman. So that is a fallacy of this. And they don't have any understanding of Bhagavad Gita. You see this second verse of 8th chapter and 16, 17, 18 verse of 15th chapter, then you'll understand clear distinction what is Chara and Akshara. What is Brahman, what is not Brahman. So Avyakto Akshara ityustastamaham paramam gadim. So that Akshara, which is Krishna says Avyakta, it is spiritual planets. Now comprising, we have seen this Chindamani Pragasat, and then the second chapter and the second canto, second chapter, there are so many descriptions of these 400 forms of Krishna. That is, Srila Prabhupada explains here. Trivikrama, Keshava, Madhava, Aniruddha, Rishikesha, Sanghashna, Pradyumna. There are 24. If I remember rightly, there are 24, 400 forms. Of course, there are millions, but this in the second chapter, they are explaining 24 forms. And they are looking similar, 400, but according to the placement of these four things, Shangapatna Bhagavadam, Shangachakra Bhagavadam, in the rotation, and they are distinguished as Trivikrama, Madhava, Vasudeva, Damodara, Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and that is exact. So these are all the presiding deities of the spiritual planets, and the spiritual planet is so huge. And the capital of our spiritual planets is Golok Vrindavan, where Krishna is residing. So put together, the Vaikuntha planets, they are Akshara, and that is the highest destination. And one who goes there is now coming back. Yam prapya nivattande tadhama paramama. Now, all our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Baldev Vidyabhushan, H.G.Satyavrta, everybody explained these three verses in terms of planets only. Now, Ramanujacharya is giving a different explanation. He is considering Akshara as Brahman, like the impersonalists do. Now, Ramanujacharya says the first destination of or inside this material world of the creation of Krishna, the first destination in the matter of creation is the bodies, the matter, the Prakriti. The body comprising of the elements, The second one is a combination of Jiva, and the second one is a combination of Jiva and this body. So those people who are grossly material, they think only in terms of body. Now, those who are slightly advanced, they understand that we are a combination of matter and spirit. Chapter 26 verse very clearly says, Yavat sanjayate kinjit sattvam stavara jangamam kshetra kshetrajna samyoga tadviri vardashava. So this is a combination of what? Matter and spirit. So that is the second destination. We understand that we are this one. And the third and final destination is a pure soul, which is Akshara. So according to Ramanacharya, the three destinations or three destinations of one is that we are the gross body, understand them well. Second is the combination, the Jiva engaged or getting inside this body. And the third one is the body, the Jiva bereft of this body. I mean, when it leaves the body, Srimad Bhagavatam says, Tektva anyada deham swa zrubena vesida. So that is the second, the third destination. So that aspect also we can understand that Akshara is Brahman only, but our Prabhupada, our Acharyas explain this Akshara as a Para-Brahman only. But Ramanujara again makes a distinction in the 22nd verse, is that Purusha Sapravrta Bhaktya Labhyatvananya. That person whom have these three destinations are there, that person is Krishna. So we can understand the sequence. Ramanujacharya, we have to understand that he came immediately after Shankaracharya. So all the people, all those learned wisdom people, everything will be, they are looking with them and they are influenced by this, what they call Vedanta, or you can say Advaita philosophy of Shankaracharya. So Ramanacharya very nicely go along with them and explain this Akshara. Yes, Akshara is impersonal Brahman or the soul of Brahmasmi. And then he says that there are three destinations of the Supreme. One is this full body, I mean gross body. Second is a combination of body and soul. And the third destination is a pure soul. And these destinations or these goals belong to this Supreme. He explains the next one. Purusha saparapartha bhakti labhya. That Purusha can be attained only by bhakti. So we can see that Ramanacharya's mode of argument is very subtle. And the superficial, you may think that he is supporting this Advaita theory. But in the final analysis, it just slips off and then comes out with bhakti. And so you can see that Srila Prabhupada had a high appreciation for Ramanacharya. He can see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he said that all the Mayavadi philosophy have been defeated by Ramanacharya only. Although Madhvacharya has made a lot of attack on this Shankaracharya and all that. But the way Ramanacharya has done is, he has done it very subtly.
Born enemy of Shankaracharya,
Madhvacharya is born, yeah. He makes a very gross attacks on Shankaracharya. Ramanacharya does not attack. But very subtly he defeats this philosophy of. That is why his philosophy is always Vishishta Advaita. It appears sometimes like Advaita, but it is different. It is Vishishta Advaita. And ultimately, the whole goal, the final goal is the Parama Purusha, Paramatma, Bhagwan, Vishnu or Krishna only. So that's why he was able to influence a lot of people who inside this Shankaracharya's Advaita philosophy. So Purusha Saparapartha Bhaktya Labhyato Ananya. So this person, this supreme person, who is responsible for creation, who is maintaining everything, and to whom unto whom everything is coming back or returning or merging, is that Parama Purusha, And that is Krishna only. And he could be understood by, and what is the special qualification of Krishna? Yasya andastani bhutani yena sarvamidam tadata. Yasya andastani bhutani. Now see the creation from the three Vishnu angles. First, Karanodashaya Vishnu is there. He breathes out all the universes. And inside each and every universe, Garbhodashaya Vishnu appears. And from the Garbhodashaya Vishnu's stomach, belly, nabi, comes out sprouts Brahma. And then the creation of this happens, of the material elements. Of course, material elements belong to Krishna only. Using these material elements, Brahma creates all these 84 lakhs bodies. And into the 84 lakhs bodies, Krishna sends the jivas who are qualified, who are interested in living this material world. In today's morning class, we have seen that Aitreya Upanishad 1.1.1 and 2, Saishade. So we can see inside this creation of this material universe or material life is within this the Garbhodashaya Vishnu. So that is why Yasya Andasthani Bhutani is inside. You can see that Brahma is coming sprouting. Then you have the lotus of this, the lotus, you can see the stem of lotus have all the worlds. And the top world is Satyaloka. Brahma is there, and our lower bottom is Padala. And you can see the Garbhodashaya Vishnu is. So Garbhodashaya Vishnu is in the whole world inside the Garbhodashaya. You can say Garbhodashaya Vishnu is at the bottommost position of this world. You can Garbha Udaka. Garbhoda is at the bottommost place in the material universe. So everything is inside Garbhodashaya Vishnu. And once this individual souls are coming, say, and then the third Krishna, the third Vishnu, Kshirodashaya Vishnu, he comes inside, he resides inside the atomic jiva. So he says, Yena sarvamidam tadam. Every atom, every single atom, everywhere, Kshirodashaya is inside. And these three Vishnu forms, Karanodashaya Vishnu, Garbhodashaya Vishnu, and Kshirodaya Vishnu, we know that is a part and parcel, you can say. Kala, in Sanskrit is called Kala. Amsha of Krishna only. Esyeva nishchasida kala mathavalambya jivanti loma vilaja jagdandanada Vishnu Mahan Sayasya Kala Vishesho. This Vishnu, Karanodashaya Vishnu, is just what I call say a small amsha of Krishna only. So that you can understand the greatness of Krishna. So that Krishna can be realized only through devotion only, pure devotion. That is explained 14th Ananya Chedaha Sadaram Yomam Smaridin Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nitya Yoga Seyuktina. So Nitya Yuktasya Yogina. So the Ananya Cheda, that person, that Krishna, that Supreme Krishna can be realized only through unflinching, undeviated devotion. And this unflinching, undeviated devotion can be generated in us only through spiritual masters, acharyas coming parambra. And that's why we are very fortunate to be under Srila Prabhupada. Then he has explained in detail everything. Then we understand the knowledge of Krishna. From that point onwards, we start the devotion. So how to realize Krishna? Understanding Krishna is supreme and everything. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So, you can recite that Chaurashtagam. Chaurashtam, Ravani just sent it very nicely. Yes. Shall we start?
Yeah, yes.
But we have that. Chaurashtakam. Everyone just given the Malayalam. It's very nicely written. Praje prasiddham navanida chauram gopangananam chadukula chauram anega janmajida pava chauram chauragraganyam purusham namami Shri Radhigaya hridayasya chauram Tavambuda Shyamala Kandi Chauram Padashidanam cha samasta chauram Chauragraganyam purusham namami Akinjini kritya padashidam ya Karodi bhikshum padigeha hinam Kenabhyaho bhishana chaura idre Drishtva shudovana jagatrayevi Yadiyanamapi harati shesham Giriprasaran Akipaparashim Ashiryarupanuchaura idre Drishtva shudovanamaya kadavi Dhanam cha manam cha tadendriyani Pranam cha hatva mama sarvam eva Palayase kutra drudo dvchaura Tvam bhakti danam simaya niruddha Chinasti ghoram yamapasha bandam Vinasti bhimam bhavapasha bandam Chinasti sarvasya samasta bandam Naivat mano bhakta kridam tu bandam Manmanase tamasa rashi ghore Karagrihe dukkhamaye nibaddha Labhasva he chaura hare chidaya Suchaura doshochidam eva dandam Karagrihe vasa sada hridaye madiye Mad bhakti pasha dhrida bandhan nischarasan Tvam Krishna he pralaya kodi shadandarevi Sarvasya chaura hridayan naimochayami Iti chaurashtam Jai. Thank you very much. Vancha kalpatruvescha Vasindhu Vyevacha Paidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi